If you are a therapist, a coach, a healer, and you're tired of trading your time for money, this masterclass is going to show you how to productize your knowledge and how to turn your knowledge into a premium offer that clients will happily pay three, four, six, $10,000 for. So, incredibly valuable video. Let's dive in. Why would we want to create one of these offers anyways in the first place? And I've got a couple quotes here to just kind of frame the conversation a little bit. So first one is business is not financial science, like business, right? It's about trading. It's about buying and selling. It's about creating a product or a service so good that people will pay for it, right? Sometimes we overthink the business side of things. Or I know a lot of therapist friends, experts in their field, and they've spent so much time and money developing their skill and their craft, but not that much time developing their entrepreneurial muscles or the business muscles. And so, but really simply, to develop that muscle, what you have to understand is that it's not rocket science and that it's just about trading and creating something that you can trade for an equal and equivalent amount of money is good business. Okay. And so that's the first and foremost. That's, Anita Roddick. Another good quote is the only people in the world who can change things are the ones who can sell ideas. Right? The ones who can sell ideas. And if you are a coach or a therapist or you're working with people, you're a healer, often what you're doing without thinking about it, you might not think that this is sales, but when you are trying to help somebody to take different actions in their life and or have them take a certain supplement or try something outside of their comfort zone, really what you're doing is you're selling an idea. And so this is why I love working with coaches and therapists, because they're naturally good at sales. They might just not know it yet. And when you develop a high value offer, it makes selling a whole lot easier. And I'll explain why shortly. Bob Proctor was a mentor of mine for many years. And he taught me so many great things. Thoughts Become Things, that was actually more of Dr. Wayne Dyer. But Bob Proctor said, if you can see it in your mind, then you can hold it in your hand. And it was this understanding of like the connection between what's in your head and what's out here in the physical world. And a lot of what this masterclass is about and developing your high value offer is really about that. It's about taking what is in your head and pulling it out into the physical realm and having it be tangible, right? And so for therapists or people who work in the mental health space or who have concepts and ideas and wisdoms, this is kind of the challenge, right? You're the expert, but how do you communicate this wisdom and this knowledge in a way that makes sense out here? And this is really what we help clients do. And, that old saying, a picture is worth 1,000 words, but if you can actually turn your wisdom into a picture, it's worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And so I'll give you an example, like very briefly, because my background, I used to have a private practice. I was in finance though. And I used to call myself a financial therapist because I focused more on the psychology and the behavior of finance than I did the, returns on investment or the macroeconomics. But whenever I would tell people, what it was I did, is I would say, I'm a financial planner, for example. And people would often run away at that, or have at the very least, like have no idea what I really did. And the reality is there's so many different types of financial planning. So at one point in my career, I knew I was working with entrepreneurs, and I knew that one of their biggest problems was that they had large tax bills. And so one of the things that I would do is instead of saying I'm a financial planner, I would explain what I did with a drawing. So, and you can just, understand this. It's like, what did my clients want? Well, they wanted to pay 30% less tax. That's what I do. That's what I help entrepreneurs do, is I help them pay 30% less tax so that they can reinvest into their business without generating more revenue. And the way we do that is we look at your deductions. We look at your assets and the ways that you use them. And then we look at your, you could say liabilities, or you could say, well, let's just say that. It's been a little while since I offered these services. Liabilities. Okay, and it kind of creates a more interesting idea. You could say, I do financial planning, or I help you save 30% less tax so you can grow your business. Okay, that's, an example. A different example might be like, I'm a therapist. But that's such a broad idea. It's difficult for people to understand. So if you said, instead, you could say, I help people have more love in their life or have better relationships. And the way that we do that is we help them with boundaries, we help them with self-love, and we help them with communication. I'm not a therapist. Like, if you are a therapist, you probably have better ideas. But this, like, in a nutshell, it's about being able to explain what it is you do with an image in a simple way, using models to explain what your high value offers, and having more specificity and solving specific problems. Because when you can do that, these are some of the elements that allow you to charge premium prices. And a lot of the challenges that self-employed professionals have, therapists, healers, practitioners, are similar in the sense that the way that they structure their business, or the way that's kind of normal or commonplace, is they'll typically have what we call like transactional pricing. And this is a big problem, because transactional pricing leads to transactional results. Less commitment, less transformation. And ultimately what happens is you end up building a transactional business. And as a result of that, many healers and therapists and private practice rebels end up burning out, overworked, because of the structure of their business. And the structure of the business actually comes back to the offer. The offer is the most important piece when you want to build a highly leveraged business that doesn't just give you money, but gives you time and freedom and flexibility and meaning. And so what we want for people is, and what the purpose or intent of developing a high value offer will do, is it will help you go from transactional pricing to transformational pricing. It will help you go from transactional results to transformational results, and ultimately provide you with a transformational lifestyle and a transformational business that is uncommon, to say the least. And when you have this, when you get this dialed in, what happens is you end up with a whole lot more meaning, because you're doing deeper work, more clear work. You're able to get results faster for your clients. And as a result of that, you're generating more money. And when you structure this business in the right way, it streamlines everything, and you have way more leverage and time. It simplifies the entire business for you. Okay, so this is what we want, and this is what you're going to get inside of this training here today. Okay, so before we go too far into this masterclass, in case we have never met, let me do this. My name is Dan Harrison, and I am a online business mentor to rebel therapists. And instead of giving you my whole backstory and all the things that we've done, I just want to share with you actually like what we're up to now. Because I've never been more clear about what I'm doing, who I'm here to serve. And it is the healers, and it is the rebel therapists, and it's the people who are helping with the healing of this planet. And I really do believe that in the coming years, there's another pandemic that's about to hit. And in a lot of ways, we're already in it, in terms of like a mental health crisis and a healing and health crisis. And I really think it's more important than ever for experts and health professionals to unpack their genius, to unpack their wisdom, and to create transformational experiences and expedite the process of transformation and healing on this planet. And if I can help and contribute to that healing, that to me is a life well spent. And so that's what we're up to. And on a bigger picture, over the next 5 years, we want to help over 1,000 healers, therapists, health practitioners, coaches, expand their business, build smarter, more leveraged businesses that can take on more clients without taking up more of their time, make a deeper impact, have deeper healing. And if we can do that, the ripple effect of that is millions and millions of people. And so that's what we're doing. That's why we're creating these courses and programs, and we have a really unique and awesome method for doing that. And so that's a little bit about me and us. I'm the founder of a company called Soulful Sales Company, and like I said before, before going online in 2016, I had an entire career in finance and building businesses, and have been a serial entrepreneur since forever. And so teaching entrepreneurship and helping therapists build smarter businesses is very much in alignment for me, and aligned with my deeper mission and passion. And so enough about me. Let's chat about you and your business, and part of like what we do and how we help, and is this idea of right now, like how would you build a business that can do $30K a month as a self-employed professional or small business owner, who helps with a service without burning out. And depending on where you're at in your business, maybe you're just starting, maybe you're already at $25K a month, maybe you're beyond $30K a month. But there's like doing the right thing in your business at the right time is vitally important. But some things, when you can simplify, when you get the offer right, everything else becomes a whole lot easier. And I'll try to explain what I mean in this slide here. And here's a little bit of like, here's the path. Here's how you might grow to $30,000 a month in a relatively simple way. So typically, often before people even meet with us, what happens is they're charging by the hour usually, actually. Maybe like why am I doing that? Maybe $150 to $350 an hour. But this is a trap. And so one of the first things that we do is we get rid of that. And that's transactional pricing. It's trading your time, but your time is your most valuable asset that you have. And so what we want to do is we want people to pay us based on the transformation or the process that we're going to take them on. Like, what is the problem that they're trying to solve that we can uniquely help them with? And that could be anything from, getting out of debt, to losing weight, to healing relationships, to like whatever it is that you specialize in. This is how you want to frame your offer. And then depending on your level of expertise, there's kind of like 3 tiers that we found that work well. When you're just starting and maybe just certified and don't have a lot of confidence or experience, instead of charging by the hour, look at how can I charge $1,500 for a particular offer. Then as you get better, you get more confidence, experience, better at helping your clients, it then becomes easy to be able to charge, let's say, $3,000. And then as you develop expertise, more people are waiting to work with you. You then are able to raise your rates. So what we're not teaching or telling people to do, like a lot of other, overnight gurus are doing, is like, oh, raise your rates. You should double your prices. Yes, like you should most of the time, but you got to do it in an ethical way, in a way that makes sense, and that's based on like laws of supply and demand. So you don't just get to like, well, I'm going to double my rates without putting in the thought or the work underneath it. And so we show you how to do that. And if you look at it in kinds of like 3 different tiers, right? What happens is the pricing is what changes, but what stays consistent is as long as you have a system for generating 5 clients a month, which is kind of let's say that doesn't change. Let's say you have a good system that gets 5 clients a month, and the only thing that changes is your expertise level, your confidence, and your prices. Then you can see how you're able to grow your business from zero to $30,000 a month in maybe a few short years. And so again, it depends on where you're coming from. It depends on like the problem that you're solving, and you will have your own unique high value offer that you develop. But you can see by coming up with offering and pricing like this, it shifts everything. I won't go through this whole like before and after idea, but just think about this for a second. When you are charging by the session or $150 a session, how many sales do you have to make, or how many clients do you have to take on in order to generate 6 figures? It's kind of that's like a lot. How do you do that math, and what does it work out to? Just from simplicity, if you knew that you had a program that you just charged $3,000 for, how many clients would you need every month to hit 6 figures? 3. 3 would be 108, I think. Right? And it just simplifies your whole business. And so this is, on a simple level, and it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be 10. It really depends on a few things. Okay, so these are some of the reasons why, because like if you get the money right, if you get the offer right, then the implications of that is you're going to get the time, you're going to get the leverage, and you're going to have a business that you actually enjoy. And so those are some of the reasons for why you might want to develop a high value offer. And if we were going to change that, shift gears a little bit and talk about, well, what is a high value offer then? And let's kind of unpack that. What is that? Because it's really made up of quite a few different moving pieces. And we're going to break this down for you through this training so that you can take this worksheet, actually, and we have like some worksheets for you, and be able to think about how to craft and develop your unique high value offer that's in alignment with your deeper purpose, that's like focused on people that you're passionate about working with, that actually solves real problems, that has a clear promise, where you develop like a process for delivering on the promise that's profitable, and where there's a pathway for success. When you have all those pieces, you've got a high value offer, and the chances of you succeeding in your business go through the roof. Because think about this, like 80% of self-employed professionals and business owners like fail within 5 years. And the difference, a big piece of that is because they have the wrong business model, or they've got the wrong offer. And so this solves it's a big problem that getting this right will solve. And so what is it, right? What is a high value offer, and how would you define it? And let's unpack it. For me, the way that I would describe it is a high value offer is a transformational process that delivers results to the client with a flexible approach and a premium price. So it's just getting clear about what is the transition that a client is trying to make. What is it that they are after? Why are they reaching out to you? Is it to quit smoking? Is it to lose weight? Is it to, become wealthy? Is it to become an entrepreneur? Right? For us, for a lot of, what we do in a lot of ways is we help practitioners go from offline to online. And there's a transition. There's a process for that. Right? And so first and foremost, that is what a high value offer is. It's a premeditated transformation, and then it's your unique way of delivering that. Now, some of the elements that go into the pricing, like how are you able to price your program as a transformational price? Well, it's really about understanding value and matching the price of your program to the value that you are offering. And so the elements that contribute to the value of your program are, number one, you're clear on like what the dream outcome is that you're trying to deliver for people. And then multiplied by the perceived likelihood of achievement. So when somebody can see that they can be successful using your process or your pathway, the value goes up. Okay, now what would make the value go down? Well, if it was going to take like a really long time, right? If there's a long time delay in actually achieving the results, that will make the value go down. And if it was going to take like so much work and felt heavy and hard to do and like unenjoyable, that will make the perceived value go down. And so these are some of the levers that we can pull, or at least be thinking about, when we are coming up with our offer to be able to match the price to the value. Okay, and this is what unshackles you from trading your time for money, is understanding some of these concepts. By the way, these are not my concepts. These are from a great genius, business guy. His name is Alex Hormozi. He has an offer, a book called $100 Million Offers. If you want a mind-bending, mind-expanding book to read about offers and developing, really great offers, he's a genius at this. Highly recommend this book. This is where a few of these concepts come from. Okay, so this is another piece from his book. And I wanted to pull this out because, there's this interesting thing. If you have ever thought about decreasing your prices, because maybe there's not a lot of clients around, and so you're like, well, maybe I should lower my prices. That is a disservice to yourself, to your business, and to your clients. And there's a lot of studies that have been done on this, but he, explains this really well in just like a simple graph. And I just wanted to explain this really quickly. Because when we're looking at when you decrease your price, what happens is so on your client side, what happens when you lower the price? You decrease the emotional investment of your clients. When you decrease the price, you decrease the perceived value of something that they're buying, right? And how do you treat something when you don't value it? The results of your clients typically decrease as a result. And also when you discount too much, you end up getting actually the demandingness of your clients increases. And the other element is it decreases the revenue for fulfillment. So in order to deliver the results for your clients, it's going to decrease your revenue essentially. Okay, and then on the flip side, when you increase your prices, this is really interesting. When you increase your prices, you increase the emotional investment from your clients. They're more committed. They're more emotionally invested in the outcome that they're buying. The perceived value of what they're buying increases. And as a result of these things, their results increase. Their demandingness decreases typically, and your revenue goes up for fulfilling on the promise of each of your clients. Okay, so that's from your client perspective, but then there's your business. When you increase your price, what happens is your profit increases. This is important. The perceived value of self increases. Do you know what allows you to increase your prices? Your level of expertise, your confidence, your image of self. And so when you raise your rates and you charge premium pricing, there's an internal shift that happens. And it actually happens when somebody agrees to pay you that new price for the first time. It solidifies a belief in your expertise, and your confidence level goes up. And it creates this virtuous cycle of prosperity. Okay? And as a result of that, the results go up. Your service levels go up because you actually have money to reinvest into your business. You're not burning out because you have no money and you're doing everything yourself. And you're actually able to build a team and then have a good morale. And so think about it. People are looking for quality, especially in the services. They're looking for a result. They're looking for help. And so, commit to becoming an expert, becoming the best, and creating an amazing, amazing program, experience, and transformation for people. And this is what allows you to charge premium prices. Okay, I thought this was interesting as well. This is just thinking, what are the levers that you can pull? And sometimes we don't think about this, but there's lots of different levers around, for example, how many people are in the program? Like, are you going to do this one-on-one or in small groups or in a course or a combination of all of them, right? Like, these are things that you can play with to shift up the time that you commit. Are you going to deliver your content in video, audio, PDF, or live? What elements of your program are going to be done as a do-it-yourself, as a done with you, as a done for you, in the service, space? So take my own experience, for example. I was so tired of having the same budgeting conversations over and over again with clients. And so I kind of stumbled upon some of this stuff, because basically what I did is I'm going to record a video. I'm going to put the spreadsheet underneath that video. And then instead of me having the conversations, I will just send them the link and they can do the work themselves. That saved me so much time. And more importantly, it saved me not having to have the same boring conversation over and over again with people. And so these are things that you can build and develop and put in to your program to save you time and give you more leverage. But just thinking about what are the elements, and then what about your time, like speed and convenience. So what kind of access are they going to have? Is it Monday to Friday? What dates and times? If you think about the support that you can offer, is it phone, email, chat, community, live Zooms? What elements of support can you include inside of your program to help deliver the results and increase, the experience, so that they have a better experience? And this is just like thinking about, how can I 10x the results, or do 1/10 of the work to get the same outcome? And it's just really about thinking about the deliverables. Right. So these are some of the I thought was kind of cool. It's what can you add, shift, tweak, take away to increase the value of your offer? And these are, some ideas. So that's a little bit about what a high value offer is. And again, we only teach and do what we do for ourselves. And so it would be weird if I didn't have a high value offer, which we most definitely do. It's called the Avocado Method. It's made up of 7 different pillars and kind of little projects that we help rebel therapists and practitioners implement into their business that will give them more leverage, more clients, more money, more meaning, and build smarter businesses so they can have bigger impact. And developing a high value offer is one step of a bigger solution. And so it's this piece right here. It's about having a validated offer. Okay, Avocado Method is an acronym. I won't share about it too much, but what's really cool about this is everything that we give and we get to create for our clients, we get to use to help people who aren't our clients as well. And when we do it this way, what happens is our content actually has a lot more context. Right? So you might be wondering why is he doing this masterclass? Why is he offering this masterclass? The reality is that I did this for a client. There's a client of mine who was struggling with this process. And so I was you know what? I'm going to build a process for you. And then I'm going to give parts of it away for free to help other people. And then when you do that, what happens is you're able to bring the things that you give away for free and put it in the context of a bigger solution. So if you want to have a high value offer, there's a good chance that what you really want is to have a thriving online business. And in order to have a thriving online business, there's 9 little projects that you need to implement into your business. And this is the first one. And so we're going to help you with this one. Anyways, so that's just I'm just telling you, we're only teaching and doing what we do ourselves. Okay. And I can tell you the results are amazing when you get this right. But there's, and not just for me, yes, I've had great results doing this, but so have our clients. So I'll just give you a quick little couple stories. So Phil Whitmer, amazing expert fitness coach, has a really unique process and owns a brick and mortar gym in Vancouver. He reached out to me during COVID and was dude, our gym is closed again. I need to figure out how to get online. Can you help me? We're yes. What we were able to do is in 2 or 3 months is we remade his offer. He was charging $1,500 and stuck working in person. We doubled his prices. We developed an offer that he could deliver online, and we landed his first 5 clients. Okay, and so that was a big shift for him, right? And now he's able to do his work online. He's not subject to, if COVID happens or there's other closures, and he has more freedom, and he's able to get even better results for his clients. Okay, then there's Jennifer Deegan, who's a therapist. She's an expert therapist. She's been in a private practice for like 20 years. But like many therapists, what happened for her is she was burning out because her calendar was full and she was trying to do everything herself. And so what we were able to do is help her create a more hybrid offer so that she could bring more leverage into her program and do a combo of one-on-one plus group plus community. And her clients loved it. Her team loved it. And she got a lot of her time back while adding $5,000 a month to her business because it streamlined everything. So we got the offer right, she added more leverage, and she was able to make more money in less time, which is kind of like, that's ideal, right? That's what we all want. And then Dave Wheel, who was a men's coach, but never really had a full-time business. It was like he's an expert coach, but didn't take his coaching business really seriously. And we were able to help him develop a premium offer with a specific niche. And within a few months, he was hitting consistent 10K months. And so these are some of the people that we love working with and what can kind of shift when they really focused in on the offer. Okay, so this stuff works. It's worked for me. It's worked for our clients. And there's a process for building this out, which we have really thought out. We've tried it with hundreds of clients now, and we've developed frameworks and a step-by-step process on exactly how to do this. And we've created some workbooks around this. We have sheets, we have frameworks, we have a process. Because there's a lot of moving pieces, but when you break it apart and you just do it step by step by step, and it's kind of like building blocks. This block helps build the next block, builds the next block, and when you do this, some of the shifts is you can transition from online or in person to online, and charging by the hour to charging by the transformation. Right, and so this is what we want to do. And if you're self-employed or you've been struggling to, build your own business or attract ideal clients, when you get this dialed in, it's kind of like if you were to imagine being given the right tools, power tools, tool belts, tool boxes, to build a house after years of trying to build it with a fork, right? That's what I see a lot of therapists doing. They're trying to build their business and they're just using the wrong tools, the wrong offer, and then they're wondering why am I so burnt out and struggling and stuck? It's because the foundations are not there. You're not using the right tools. And the high value offer is most definitely one of the most important tools for building an online business, because it is the primary of 4 levers that you can pull to build a more leveraged practice. Other levers that you can pull are outsourcing, running paid ads, setting up your automations and your systems correctly, and then the offer and the pricing. And so, but all those other things, they don't matter. You can't actually pull those other levers unless you have the offer done correctly. So that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're doing. And here's a couple quotes I thought were interesting just to frame, how we build out high value offers. We'll get into that next. But it's something to remember is being passionate about solving the problem, not trying to prove your solution. So what do I mean by that? Think about, so for me, the reason that I'm doing the work right now is that I am passionate about helping entrepreneurs thrive. When I was in finance, I was still working with entrepreneurs, but I've let the feedback of my clients and the people that I'm working with and trying to serve guide me. And I am constantly trying to solve problems for them. And in doing that, I develop new skills, and I've learned, I imagine that transformation for me. I used to be, a certified financial planner, and I've made a transition to to focusing in and developing an expertise in sales and marketing for online self-employed professionals, right? Because that was what my clients and the people that I was working with needed most and wanted most, that I had a unique skill set and understanding about to solve. And so, but if I was so focused on like the problem or proving my solution, I'd probably still be trying to help people save 30% less in taxes. So it's about, you know, getting feedback and iterating on your programs and your offers. And then this is interesting, you know, a needle in a haystack, you know, that classic problem. Oh, this is going to be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. If you think differently, it's not that hard of a problem to solve. Just bring a magnet, right? You're able to solve that problem by thinking differently, by thinking with some genius. And that's really what we want to do. And that's kind of like at the heart of developing these high value offers. Okay, so let's talk about how to create one and really where the opportunity lies for you in your business. So we talked about transformational programs or offers, and really what it is like unpacking your intelligence and your process and turning it into a product or a process for helping people move from A to B. But if you zoom out and you think about like people's lives, what happens is in life, there are these transitional moments that we go through, whether it be from single to dating, maybe from dating to married, maybe from in debt to out of debt, maybe from overweight to in shape. There are these transitional moments in life, midlife crisis, you know, death in the family, new babies, like new careers. As humans, we go through these transitions, and these transitions are some of the most difficult times in our life. And these are typically the times in our life when we're looking for help and support. And so one of the things that will make your business way easier is if you understand that, or you can think about like, what kind of transitions do I want to support people in making, just like generally speaking. That's a great place to start thinking about your high value offer. And a couple other things to keep in mind when you're thinking about developing this high value offer is pretty much every realm of business, every company that's out there exists in one of three things, because these are the things that humans typically care about: health, relationships, and wealth. Most businesses will fall into one of those categories, and every successful business understands this, that what they are doing is trying to solve a pain for people, trying to solve problems. That is good entrepreneurship. Okay. Secondly is that business requires capital, and so therefore it requires working with people who can afford to pay you. And sometimes I know for therapists who like wear their heart on their sleeve, they would do this work for free usually, and there's a lot of stigma around charging, you know, money for some of your services. And I won't go into unpacking that or those beliefs in this particular training or call. But if you want to work with, you know, underprivileged demographics, there's a great way to do that, which is to work with both and work with people who can afford your services and afford the transformation that you're out to cause in the world, and then donate and do pro bono work for people who can't afford it or create scholarships. You can do both, but as a business, you have to be profitable. And in order to be profitable, you have to be able to work with people who can afford to pay you. So successful entrepreneurs know this. Successful entrepreneurs also know that it's got to be easy to find the people that you're trying to work with. If you have to hunt through the Amazon jungle to try and find a client, or even if you have to like educate somebody on why they need your product or why they need your program and it takes too long, those are not the right people to be working with. Okay, and you want to be working in an industry that is growing or in an area that is growing. My dad used to be in the newspaper marketing business. Well, newspapers, you know, it pretty much lost his job when everything went online. So it's like working with people and industries that are growing is key. So these are, just like some of the big ideas to keep in mind. And I want to share this with you because when you go down this train of building out your high value offer, I think it's important to understand that this work doesn't really end. You're not going to just build your high value offer once and then be like, I figured it out. Because if this truly is your purpose, if this truly is about helping people solve big problems, then you're gonna really never stop at trying to help people solve these problems. You're going to get better. You're going to develop more expertise. You're going to get more clear. The more clients that you work with, the more experience you're going to have, the better your offering is going to be. And I want to just share this kind of iterative process that is also vital to the success of developing a program, becoming an expert. Because as well, if there's any speakers or people who want to write a book, who are watching this right now, this is for you. Because when you're going to write a book, you're trying to unpack your genius, unpack your way of thinking about things. Well, this is a great way to do it, where your book can actually become your product or your coaching program or your service. And so to give you an example, like for me, this was my very first offer. And there's, some things that are right with it. And there's lots of things that aren't. But it was a great first offer, and it helped me go from charging by the hour, trading my time for money, to developing a process for people. And so I was a financial planner, and I went to become a money coach. And I wanted to help people with the things I knew about, which was money mindset, which was marketing, and financial planning and money itself. And so it was cool. I developed this process, and I was able to charge $1,500 for it. The reason I could charge $1,500 was because it was pretty broad. It was pretty general. And there was actually too much information inside of this program. And actually, if you go onto our website now, soulfulsalescompany.com, we actually give this program away for free or for a very small amount. It's called not A Course in Miracles, that's my book, A Course in Conscious Wealth. And so this was the first offer that helped me shift from charging by the hour to charging for a transformation and helping people develop a better relationship with money. Okay, and then I realized, well, actually, I'm going to narrow my focus. I'm just going to go into marketing, and I'm going to help entrepreneurs with their marketing. And so this was the second iteration of that program, and I was able to charge $3,000 for a program like this. Okay, and so it was I was iterating. I learned. I got better. I narrowed my focus, and I got more clear over time about what the transition was that I was helping people with. And now, we're extremely clear. We've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, and we're clear about who we want to work with. We're clear about how we can help people. We're clear about the transition that they're in and on, and as a result of that, we continue to evolve our offer, iterate our offer, learn from our clients, and validate it, get feedback, iterate. And now we've developed something truly transformational, truly like a beautiful offer that gets results and that our clients love. And it will continue to evolve, and it will continue to, we'll iterate it, improve it. And as a result of that, our prices will continue to go up. The prices for working with us will never be as cheap as they are right now. They will only go up in price. Okay? So I just wanted to share that with you to understand that this is a process. And when you engage in the process, it doesn't mean for any perfectionists out there, I'm talking to you, because you can't wait for it to be perfect. We were able to build a 6-figure business with this offer, $250K a year with this offer, and significantly more with our current offer. Okay, so it's an evolution process that you go on. But what you want to focus on is wherever you're at now with the expertise that you have, what is the big problem that you can and want to help people with? And when you can figure out what is that big problem, you kind of understand that there's probably some roadblocks on the way that people are going to run into when they are trying to make that transition. And these actually become like the pillars of your program, right? So for us, we know that the problems people will run into is they have a weak offer, they don't have enough leads, and they're not that great at sales or thinking like an entrepreneur. And so those are the pillars that we help people with in order to go from employee to entrepreneur, or like in-person to online, 0 to 30K a month. These are the things that we help our clients with, and you'll figure out what those are for you when you're clear on that process. But then you'll also understand that each of those, you can unpack it. And what happens is you start to just break it apart and organize your thinking and your thoughts in such a way that you end up with like the pieces of the puzzle that people are looking for. Like, how do I do that? And you're able to offer the solution. You're like, I've already done the hard work. I know the puzzle pieces that you're looking for. You want to go from here to here? Look, here's the things that you got to do. I know it. I'm an expert in this. Which, okay, cool concept, Dan, but what you might not grasp yet is this concept here, that delivery drives your attraction. So the best coaches and people who are successful are the ones who are focusing on their clients, not doing all the marketing and the sales. You've got to do both. But how do you do both in a way that you're not like being overwhelmed with spending all of your time? And if you focus on serving your clients, what happens is you can use that piece of content as your attraction, as your lead magnets. Right? I'm literally doing that right now. I'm giving you a great example of this. I'm giving away 1 of 9 pieces of how we help people build thriving practices. But I don't have to create something new. I built this for a client of mine. I already made this. Okay? So this is a big idea. That your delivery, if you focus on improving your offer and getting clear about the puzzle pieces that your clients need, that you can help them with, that solves your marketing problem. And what happens is you end up with a level of congruency in your business that is palpable, that people can feel. They might not get it, but your offer and the way that you deliver and the way that you attract and the way that you convert clients is so consistent and congruent that you have a real business. You're not just kind of flying by night creating offers off the seam of your pants. You have one offer that is expert level, that you charge premium prices. And everything in your business revolves around that. And this is the way. So I'll end this little training with you right now on this one big idea. And then I'm going to show you how it is we help people and make you an offer. Okay? So this is a cool idea. I learned a lot from Aaron Fletcher. A lot of the ideas and frameworks that we use are actually because I'm a certified business consultant and learned from Aaron Fletcher, who does 10 million a year or has done 10 million and is a marketing genius. And I really appreciate the way that he approaches marketing. And so I've learned a lot from him. And this is a big idea that he preaches on, is that there's a big myth in marketing right now, which is the difference between a customer-centric model and a currency-centric model. So a lot of gurus out there right now are like, got to figure out who your avatar is. Who's your perfect avatar, right? And they spend so much time trying to just focus on the avatar and not that much time focusing on the offer or what you're going to give that perfect avatar. But if you actually just flip that a little bit and you focused on a problem that you wanted to solve first and foremost, and you focused on a transition and a problem that maybe lots of people deal with, right? There's lots of people who want to build an online business or go from in-person to online. And And so it's like we focused on the problem. And as a result of that, we focus on the offer, we focus on the puzzle pieces to the problem first. And then we realize that different avatars different people are gonna want different parts of our program. And so we might have 9 different avatars, right? If what we're helping people with is confidence, there's lots of people who need help with confidence. And so then the niche will sort itself out over time as you develop your expertise. So if you've ever had this, riches in the niches and you're stuck on like creating your avatar, there's a different way to do it and go about it that is way easier. Okay? So last thing I'm going to share with you is the 7 steps of how to actually build this. And and then we'll end this training there. So I'm really excited to share these 7 steps of how to build this high value offer, because I really don't think there's really too many people who have put these pieces together in this way to help you develop an offer in a systematic, simple, easy to follow process that is really going to transform your entire business. And so let me just share with you what those 7 steps are and what it looks like and how we can help you. So the very first thing when you're building an offer, you got to think of this like it is a new business to a certain extent. Like when you are changing your offer or upgrading your offer or developing a high value offer, you want to think about this from like a business perspective. And so doing like a simple 1-page business plan that gives you absolute clarity on like where you're going and what you're doing. And some of the questions you want to answer for yourself is like, what's the problem I want to work on? Is this going to be profitable? Who am I working with? What's the process? What am I going to price? What would I like to price? What are my goals? And so that's the first step. It's like just basically doing some basic planning, like a 1-page business plan. We're not talking about some big thing you're going to take to a bank. Just the basics to give you the context and the point the ship in the right direction, let's say. Once you're pointed in the right direction, the next step is we're starting with the currency. So this is what's a little bit backwards, right? A lot of people be like, hey, who's the avatar? Well, we're going to do that after. First, we're going to focus on like, what's the problem? And sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to focus on problems. Maybe it's like the wrong word. Don't get hung up on the words. Focus on the evolution or the transformation or helping people go from good to great. Right? Regardless, there's like a gap or there's a transition or a transformation that people want to go on. And in order to do that, they're going to run into problems such as life. So we've got a process, we've got a tool called the currency calculator, which will help you define and prioritize all of the things that you do and can do for your clients and figure out which one is going to be the most profitable, the easiest to deliver on. And we've got kind of like a beautiful process for this. Once we understand what the currencies are, by the way, if you are in the mental health space or you're dealing in currencies or you're helping people with things that are typically a little less tangible, like increased energy or more confidence or helping people with boundaries, communication skills, these love, joy, peace, happiness, like these types of, this type of work is like incredibly potent. But the way that our monetary system works is like people pay money for things that they can see the value in, and typically it's easier if they can see it, touch it, measure it. It's tangible. And so we show you like how to bring those ethereal concepts into the tangible realm and turning them into commodities that can be traded. Just like that's what business is. So that's our first step, figuring out the problems, thinking about the currencies. What is it that you offer? What is the value? And then we start to look at, which customer, who would you like to work with? One of the exercises that we do for this is definitely not, I don't know anybody that's teaching it this way, but it's more intuitive. And it's from a sense of like, you can even do this right now. If you're just to close your eyes for a minute and you were just to picture kind of like a sea of people, lots of different people, different ages, different, men, women, different socioeconomic spaces in their life, different jobs, the whole gamut, ethnicities, demographics, just like the whole gamut of people in the world, all the different types of people. And you just kind of looked out into the world and you ask that sea, almost like the archetypes, and you said, hey, who here, wants my help? And who raises their hand? Right? Like who says like I do? And who is that? Why do they want your help? And so you can kind of just like allow yourself to be intuitively led. You probably already know who it is you're here to serve and work with. And once you can kind of like, oh, I'd like to work with these people, then doing an avatar exercise from there is like really easy. From there, it's really about honing in on the messaging. And what's cool about this exercise is it's really an act of developing your empathy. Good messaging, good copywriting is actually just about really understanding people, getting outside of your own head, getting into the shoes and lives of the people that you're trying to serve. This is, in a lot of ways, this is why entrepreneurship is a spiritual journey. And copywriting, believe it or not, and writing your message and getting clear on that can be a great exercise in empathy, in understanding others and getting outside of your own head, and then simplifying the message from that perspective. Okay, from there, once we're clear on, you kind of see. So we've got the plan, here's the problems, right? We're clear on the problems. We're clear on the person. We're clear on the promise. And now unpack your IP, your intellectual property, and develop your process, your puzzle pieces. Right? And so we've got a process for this, like brainstorming and unpacking your genius and then organizing it in such a way that is going to work the best for your clients as you see fit, as the expert. From there, we create the picture or the roadmap. And we turn all of those, like the ideas in the process, and we turn it into an image that you can use to explain what it is you do in one picture instead of a bunch of words. Then we help you develop the delivery checklist. So how are you going to deliver on that promise? This is an amazing tool that we've developed that helps you bring a whole new level of accountability to your clients that you serve. And so we'll show you how to build that. When we're talking about delivery, we're also going to play with what are the different elements that you can add, subtract, use to make sure that people are getting the results and having a great experience in your program. And it's also doing it in a way where you have leverage and isn't wasting all of your time. And then we talk about the motivators, right? What are the guarantees and the bonuses, time limitations, general limitations. Other words that I don't love around this is like urgency, scarcity. Not to be manipulative, but like just what is so. What are your limitations, and being clear about that. And that's it. So those are the 7 steps. And at the end of those 7 steps, what you end up with is a beautiful process, offer that you can charge premium prices for because you're confident in the experience that people will have, in the results that they will achieve. It's been well thought out. And then your work becomes just guiding people through your process, guiding people on a journey of transformation. And how this looks is like they've got one big transformation that they're working on. They run into there's 3 maybe big obstacles that they might run into, but you've already unpacked the solution to those, little, those smaller problems that they're going to run into. And then you have exercises and worksheets and, whatever your coaching methods are. that help fulfill. And so every step is a process. This can become the outline of your book. This can become your course down the road that you can sell as a standalone offer. But what happens is it's like your genius on display, serving clients at the deepest level in an iterative, co-collaborative way that allows you to increase your prices, increase demand, and build a beautiful business that you love, that is deeply meaningful, that will bring you more money and more freedom. I'm so excited to help you with this. And this really is work that I'm truly passionate about. And so the way that we're going to do this is inside the form of a 7-day challenge, where within 7 days, we're going to help you create your own high value offer, walking through these 7 steps systematically, so that at the end, you've got an offer, and we're even going to give you a strategy to sell it, or at least get feedback on it and validate it. Okay, and so at this stage, there's going to be some links around this video and an offer, and I don't even know what that offer is going to be. So whatever the button says around this video is what this offer is what it is. But the 7-day challenge is on the other side of that. What it's going to look like is going through each of these steps so that in 7 days, you have got a clear picture for your clients. You've got a delivery, you're clear on the delivery, and you've got a program that you can charge $3,000 to $6,000 for, and be confident in it and that it really delivers transformational results. So thank you for watching this. Just follow the links around this video, and I look forward to serving you and helping you to develop this high value offer that deeply transforms the lives of your clients and your business and your own life as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.